So my student here, who is 77 years old, hits his driver over 270 yards. So for me, as a 30-year-old golfer, he can absolutely, on some holes, outdrive me, that's for certain. So I'm going to show you exactly how he does it. So how he does it is through some really simple things that you need to take advantage of. And I'm also going to give you guys out there, especially senior golfers, a great free practice plan in the description after this video as well. So the first thing my senior golfer student does, he does what I call grabbing the low hanging fruit to hitting the driver further. So number one, that is having his ball position right up to the front of his stance, as we can see right here. So he's got his ball position just on that inside of that left foot there, and he's got his tee adequately teed up high. So what that's going to do for you, again, really easy one to grab on for some extra distance here. That is going to immediately make it so you're going to be hitting that little bit more on the upswing, because of course the further forward that ball position is, the later you're hitting it on the swing arc, the more up it's going to be going, and you're going to hit a higher launched shot here. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to show you here with a really low tee. So really kind of tee it quite low. I think the one I've got in my hand might be a bit too low, to be honest. Here we go. This is about a great tee height here. So this is one where, as you can see, with my club behind the ball, that doesn't look excessively low, does it? Really doesn't. But a lot of golfers do this. You can't get away with teeing it low if your swing speed isn't really fast. So I'm talking about 115 plus. I'm certainly not there as a professional golfer. I do have cerebral palsy, so I am disabled as well. So my swing speed isn't the fastest. But you're going to see here, I'm going to get a woeful carry and might get okay total distance just from the run. But let's have a look. So I hit that really poor as well. So we got a total of 263 and a carry distance of 229. So launch angle, not the worst. I did hit that a little bit high on the face. That was a high toe shot, as we could see there from that shape, but we can definitely get more out of that shot. So easiest thing to do here, guys, straight away, tee it up higher. Now, it doesn't have to be exact on your tee height. I just want that golf ball to be almost predominantly above the club face. Like you can see, it's about half above that club head there. So this is where just this alone, without swinging any harder, again, you might not hit it 270 yards plus like my student does, but you will absolutely gain some good distance. One from tee height and that ball position being more forward. So just on the inside of that left foot, I'll show you a good procedure to do this every time. Let's give it a good go. So that was a very similar strike as before, a little bit toey. As we can see there, 250 and 274 total. So I dare say my student, if we were hitting the same drive there, I think he probably would have done me there for sure. But simple stuff. Grab that low hanging fruit, get that ball position more forward, and also tee that ball up higher. So a great little procedure to do for this is stand with your feet together and that ball being right in the middle. Then take the tiniest little step with your left foot and a big one with your right. That's going to get that ball right to the front. It's going to feel like you're really behind it, but that's generally just a feel. Even for myself, I started to have the ball a little bit too far back without me knowing. My launch angle wasn't here. It wasn't 14 degrees. Like you can see, it was about 8. So here in Scotland, not the worst thing in the world, but not the best for optimizing distance. So feet close together, tiny step, big step, has to be done, again, for every single golfer, especially senior golfers out there. So the second thing my student does is he has his wrist angles in a really good spot at the top of his backswing and even into his downswing. So he has at a minimum a flat left wrist. So he never gets cupped or extended like we see here. So I've got a hack motion on just so we can see our wrist angles as well. And if you do want to pick up these, there is a link in description for a good discount. And also that is where our free practice plan will be, which will be absolutely awesome. Extra content here, so you can really have a good plan to gain some distance. So why this is so important, because if we're a golfer who has a nice standard grip, so they're looking down, they say 2.5 knuckles with that left hand, and with the right hand, the line between thumb and meat of the hand up towards kind of right chest area, so nice and neutral. If now that golfer starts to extend and cup the left wrist, so like we could see there, about 55 in extension with a hack motion, so really cupped, that club face opens up hugely. So if we have an open club face and we start to use that open club face coming down, we're going to start to do what's called a glancing blow. So imagine you're punching something twice with the exact same force. So same force. So when we punch the thing the first time, we're just going dead square onto it. A lot of that force is going to be applied into the object. Now, if the second one, again, same force is being applied, but now we graze across it. So we have a glancing blow. So same force has been applied, but not much of that force is going to go into that object we're trying to hit. It's the same thing with a golf ball. So if we have that open club face and we come down, our club path might be okay, might not be, but that club face is going to be glancing across the ball, so our ball speed is going to drop down quite considerably. And what's going to happen from there? We're going to hit some weak shots. So I'm going to do my best to cup the left wrist. Now, I'm a natural bower of the left wrist, so it's going to be a tough one for me to exaggerate. But we're going to see probably quite a swipey shot there. So really get into extension. Let me go down here in hack motion so we can see the data of how well I demonstrate this real cupped left wrist. But it's not going to be the most powerful of shots. Now that felt like I really carved it out there. Whoa, look at that. So that's actually a really good one to look at. So we can see there in hack motion, plus 13 or plus 34, way too extended. So we can even see at a point of impact, extended as well. Some golfers will be a little bit extended with a left wrist at impact. That's not the worst thing in the world with driver, because we want to have some loft on the face. But absolutely, not the best. Definitely not the best. And if we look at the shot here, so we're going to see. Now, I've really tried to exaggerate it a lot, so the club head speed, if it was on here, would be slower, but we can see 194 total, 183. We can see club path 5 degrees to the left, so out to in. So I didn't try to swing out to in on that, but that club face being open with that cupped left wrist made me swing a little bit out to in to try and make it work. And we can see the face angle. There's almost a 10 degrees worth of difference between club path and club face there, 5.3. So that means I really would have had a huge glancing blow across that club. So we can see there, just huge loss of distance. Now again, I was demonstrating there, so it would have been a slower swing from that. It would have been slower just because of my technique that I was doing there. So that ultimately, for total, I mean, I can get some drives up around 300 yards total on a really good one, maybe on ice as well and downwind. But we can see there, it's close to 100 yards shorter. So that's via technique, of course. So, and just like I was saying with my student, again, he has that nice flat wrist, which if you're having a standard grip, keeps the face square. And if you maintain that nice flat wrist going through the downswing, you're going to nicely have a better presented club face of the golf ball. You have less of that glancing blow. So let's hit one here and have a little wee look. Now that is a toey one again. But again, straight away, we're a lot further. Again, just from the toe strike, as we can see there, wasn't the best of swings, but 267, I'm happy with that. Again, my student would have outdriven me. Now from that shot, we're gonna hit another one because we're gonna ignore the data it gave me there, just because as I was swinging there, just a little part of my hack motion just slipped in my hand. I'm maybe a little bit too hot and sweaty in here at the moment. So we can see though, great drive. I just want to get you to have a look here. So I'm not doing anything to physically increase my effort in my swing speed. I think that's one thing a lot of senior golfers are always concerned of course, is doing things in a swing they might not be capable of doing. Again, there's nothing here so far that we've talked about that anyone can do it. I mean, especially for myself, yes, I will be swinging it faster than most senior golfers, but I'm a disabled professional golfer. Cerebral palsy in my left side. So again, I have the same concerns as you guys there. So nice and flat with that left wrist. And let's give it a good go and have a look at those numbers. A little bit low on the face. As we can see there, maybe a little bit of a pulley one. Absolutely, we could see low on the face, tons of run on that. Low launch, pretty low carry, but look at the total, 285 there. So that's one important thing to know there, guys, is the difference you're going to have depending on where you're striking it off that club face. That's a video on its own there. The lower you hit it, which I hit that right about there, you're going to get less carry. I've got this driver fitted for me really nicely, so I still got loads of run on that, which is great. Makes the bad shot better if you've got good custom fit clubs. But we see really almost a 30 yards difference in carry just from strike location, which isn't one of the points here in this video, but that absolutely could be one. Strike the middle of the club face. Even me as a pro, I'm not immune to that. But if we have a look at the numbers there, it's much better. We can see absolutely top of the backswing. Where are we? If I have a little scroll down so we can see it all properly, we are definitely in a bit of flexion, a little bit of bowing. So that's me, that's normal for me. It would always read too much. But that's where at impact, where are we as well? -7. That's good. So we have kept those angles nicely. And again, I could only know that via a hack motion. So that's where, of course, on video, we can see it, but we can get it more in depth here. So again, if you want one of these, there is a discount in the description. But again, there is a good practice plan for this for senior golfers, anyone who wants to gain more distance. That is up there, really good structured plan for all of you. Again, nothing there is going to be, let's say, unachievable, no matter what your level of athleticism is. So guys, here's a brilliant drill to do for your flat left wrist. So get a glove on, get a tee, put the tee just on the front side there of the glove. So now if you start to extend your lead wrist, it is going to start to jab into your forearm. So all we want to do is have that tee essentially not jab into our forearm. So keep it nice and flat on the wrist. So if we can keep it nice and flat on the wrist, that is going to be absolutely our feedback for keeping our club face nice and square. Make sure, again, you've got a standard grip if you do this. If you've got a strong grip and you have a flat left wrist, your club face is going to be too close, you're going to get the opposite problem. So again, when you're doing any drill, we're going to talk about this in depth on the next point, is really make sure you're doing it nice, slow and smooth to start off with, just to make sure you're doing it. Then you get comfortable, then you can ramp it up. So I'll show you here, guys, nice smooth one, just to get this technique right. And once it gets comfortable, then you can ramp it up, and then you'll start to see the good distance benefits. So nice flat left wrist, I'm going to try and make sure it doesn't jab me. And there we go. Okay, so third thing here, guys, at my senior golfer student, 77 years old, hits the ball further than a lot of guys in their 30s, me included, is he has a very nice club path. So again, these things that we're talking about in this video have nothing to do with athleticism. We can all, of course, get that ball position more forward, tee the ball up. We can all absolutely get that left wrist flatter, have a squarer face in essence. Number 3, have a good club path. So just like we talked about with that glancing blow analogy, if our club path is too much across or even too much in, we're going to be glancing across it and we are not going to be making the most out of our shots. So there is times over the years me and my student have worked together, there's been times where his club path, just from, let's say, playing load, not necessarily practicing, let's say in the middle of the season, he's a very, very good golfer. When you do play a lot, things will go slightly off. That's where his club path will at times go slightly off. Sometimes it will get a little bit out in front of him and his distance will drop straight away, just like we can see here. If I swing a little bit, let's say overly out to win. Let's see how that reads there. Club path wise, definitely a bit out to win there. We can see absolutely 5, almost 6 to the left. So that was where that was a toey one as well, because that should fade back by those numbers, but that's because I hit it off the toe. It didn't, again, slow swing, I was demonstrating that shot. But absolutely, we're not going to see the biggest amount of distance there, because again, glancing blow analogy, whether it's from club face or club path, that's our main, again, big low-hanging fruit other than our other little areas. So if I can then move that club path to a little bit closer to 0, again, it doesn't have to be 0, really doesn't, you don't actually want it to be because you have to have a perfectly 0 face as well to target. If we can get it closer to 0 there, we're going to immediately see some more distance. So what are we, 2, 4, 3 total, 180 carry, that's disgusting. So I would have been hitting down on that as well. So with a good club path like my student, immediately the ball is going to go further. That was a lovely, lovely strike. I lost my balance a little bit on that. That's my cerebral palsy, that is. But then we could see, okay, lovely strike. Carry again. I didn't necessarily go at that. It looked like I did from my losing my balance, but that's just my disability talking. We can see club path much more closer to neutral. Club face angle. So again, we're at a 3 degrees, a 0.3 difference in face to path. So that's a pretty straight shot. We can see immediately, carry's gone up immediately, total distance has gone up as well. So that's where, let's talk about a drill that we did, that you can all do as well, just to get that club path into a good spot. And this is a brilliant one for driver. So guys, here's a great drill for this club path, especially for driver. So what I've got here, I've got my swing plate. Again, there's a link in the description if you want a discount on one of these. Absolutely awesome. So we just got our swing plate. Again, if you're hitting off a grass range, you can just stick an alignment, stick out the ground. And we have it behind the golf ball, directly behind that ball line, and we just have it angled upwards, just like so. So what this is doing, if we have it over that golf ball, if we get 2 out to win, we hit that stick. So this is where what I would recommend, and this is what I'm going to do when I'm demonstrating this, is do it slowly, do it softly. Because like for me, I can have the tendency, like most players with driver, for it to get a little bit out in front of them, go a little bit more my path going left, which isn't good for distance. So that's where, if you try to go full speed at this, you're going to crash right into that. Actually saying that, I'm going to move it back just a smidge because I'm getting nervous. So, okay, we've got that set over it. So if we get 2 out to win, Boom. So of course we want to swing, get underneath this stick, which is one, going to help us for a club path. It's also going to help you for your angle of attack as well, because this will promote the club before impact to get relatively low to the ground, which if we want to hit up on it, our swing radius has to get quite low to be able to do so. So, okay, let's hit a ball here. So again, I feel like I'm nervous doing this one. So this is actually a drill that I'm doing at the moment. I started getting a little bit too much outside, like I said, and this has been a really good one to help me neutralize myself out. So, okay, let's just do a nice soft one, 3/4, swing underneath it. Let's have a look there. I mean, look guys, that was, again, nice and soft. Again, I really didn't swing hard at that. Club path, big into out. Club face, almost half. Again, even though that didn't get all the carry in the world. But this tells you, if you're getting some nice good movements, you're hitting up on it. Again, that is some real quite low spin, but look at the amount of run that was on that. I feel like quite a lot of golfers would be very happy with, you know, pretty much 59 yards of run. So absolutely awesome, love it. So this is a really good drill. I mean, like you see from my older videos, me with my net in my back garden, that is still there. I just use it for practice and my online coaching is where I use it now. Of course, YouTube videos filmed here, tee to green in Ayr in Scotland. But I will be, absolutely, I'll probably be there later today, hitting some balls with driver, just making sure I'm not getting too overly outswing because I know it's going to affect my distance, but it is also going to affect, of course, my accuracy. So that's one of the harder things here, guys, for a lot of people to wrap their head around when it comes to technique in regards to distance, which is why we're doing this, of course. But again, for control, is to learn technique, we need to do it slow and smoothly first. So that's where, of course, when you start doing a new movement, like a new drill, a lot of people always notice that they're not hitting the ball as far as they normally do, because your conscious brain is slowing you down, especially if you're trying to actively do it slow as well. So that's where we need to just go through that and make sure, again, if we're getting somewhere like here where we've got a launch monitor, we can see our club path, which is what we want to look at. We want to see it going more to the right if we are an out-to-in golfer. But we need to make sure we're learning the movement and not just going full ball, just straight at it. So again, let's do another one, half swing or 3/4 swing, just kind of moving through it. Again, makes you feel really careful. Again, that was a bit of a necky strike, which is why that faded instead of drew. As you can see, club path there, 4.4. Definitely not going to be fading it from that unless I push fade it, which we can see it started left. So it was a neck shot. But again, total distance is 271. Again, it just tells you how good swinging from the right angle coming into the golf ball does. So again, you want to really try to feel like you're swinging from the inside, but in reality, it's very hard to hit it from the inside with driver. Hitting it later on the swing arc, hitting it more out to in. So let's hit one more before I just keep rambling on there, guys. Okay, all ready to go. So swing underneath the stick. Don't go hard with it until you feel like you can do it comfortably. And then you're going to notice the distance still goes pretty good. So again, a nice little controlled draw. Total was loads. Hit it off the toe. So again, when you got a low spinning driver like I do, 900 is way too low. But again, we're doing a drill. We're learning a pattern. Numbers aren't going to be perfect. So again, guys, if you want a free practice plan on everything to create more distance for senior golfers, that is in the description there. But if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.